This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Greetings, heroes! Welcome once again to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pitts,
Phil Man Perich.
Welcome, Philip, once again.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Well, it is another glorious July morning here in New Jersey. What's the weather like out there in Pittsburgh?
Warm. It's already like 79 degrees.
There you go. Okay, yes, getting ready for the big firework extravaganzas that no doubt will be all over the country this week because America. Count your fingers before, count your fingers after. If you have the same number, you did it right.
Oh.
Anyway, so let's talk. There's lots of stuff. Do you want to do the hard-hitting news first, or do you want to do the light, ephemeral joys of pop culture that we enjoy? Philip, you let me know what you want to do first.
Why don't you do some hard-hitting news first?
Okay, so hard-hitting news. So Anthony Mackie, your Captain America and mine. Star of the new Captain America and Bucky series on Disney Plus. Which, why is that not dropping July 4th?
I don't know. The original plan was for August anyway. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't July 4th.
Yeah, that just seems like bad marketing, Disney. Disney, no cookie.
I do remember being surprised when they were, originally it was August. I don't know if it still is, but I'm like, it's not July.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that, and as we've said, we're guessing that there was a thing in Black Widow that's supposed to tie into it, and that they had to do Black Widow first.
Yeah, maybe.
Which, I mean, granted, great if they're going to do that super reintegration stuff.
Yeah.
Because we are missing that in our modern stories, but we'll get to that in a bit when we talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But Anthony Mackie put it all on the line this week where he really called out Marvel and Disney, its parent company, for a lack of diversity behind the camera.
Oh.
Which is, and it is a fair cop, and really made a big point. It's great to see all those Black names and Black artists working on Black Panther, but we shouldn't only get to work on the Black Panther films. And this is sort of one of these things I've always said that, in a just world, no one cares about your statues. That if the world were just and, you had proper representation across the board on films, no one would care that you hired a white guy to direct Black Panther.
Yeah.
If Carl Reiner was hired to, or not Carl Reiner, you can't hire him to direct anything anymore, sadly. By the way, can we just take a moment to say goodbye to Carl Reiner, who was a great genius of comedy and one of the best straight men you could ever ask for, as per Mel Brooks, who still lives 2,000 years later.
Shh.
The 2000. Yes.
It's 2020. Shh.
I know. Well, he's the 2020-year-old man. No, but that was their old bit, the 2,000-year-old man,
mm-hmm.
And it's in its own way, it's kind of sad and beautiful that the 2,000-year-old man should survive. Should have continued on, because he will keep on. That's the hope, anyway. That was the deal, Red. Anyway, but and for those who don't know, Rob Reiner, if I recall correctly, I believe it was Rob Reiner, directed Mississippi Burning. This is way back in the 80s, and there was a lot of talk at the time of, should Should white people be telling black stories? And you know what? It's a fair cop. But then again, and this is about temporal dynamics here. There was not a name like Rob Reiner, and if it wasn't Rob Reiner, it was another big name at the time, who could tell the story of Mississippi burning. And that story got to be told. So that was always the trade-off in the past. We're not there anymore. And now you can have a big budget spectacle like Black Panther, have a black director and a black writer and black costume designers. But the problem is, if that's the only time they get to work, then it's still not a just world.
Mm-hmm.
You can't create, a ghetto is a ghetto no matter how nice the ghetto is. When you have, this will be the separate, even if it is fully equal, separate but equal is always inherently unequal, because it's the statement that there is another part of the world that you're not allowed into. And here's the thing, and here's the big question about. Now, first off, I will say it was a brave statement, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But I myself am of the belief that Disney was okay with the statement, that they actually maybe even wanted to be called out. So that they could give a public mea culpa. And I think that is indicative of what we've seen in Hollywood of late. This idea of the mea culpa and this effort to change things. And now, and of course, granted, we're getting that little bit of a backlash now, because they're like, no one cares if a scene was maybe blackface on the Golden Girls, And I was just watching Beverly Hillbillies today, where they did, where Ms. Jane asks some geishas to paint her up as a geisha so they can play a trick on Jed Clampett. And it is a thing that is in our day makes us uncomfortable, but at the same time, no one was asking for that. They want a just world, and these things like statues, like blackface, they can be a great way to get people energized about things, but that's not really the goal.
Yeah.
And the goal is to change the world, and I think Disney will be a part of changing that world. I think they've always wanted to be. I think that, you get blinded by your own success sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like there was a posting recently about Killing Eve, where someone was talking about how undiverse their writers' room were. It was a writers' room that was half women, mind you. Because they were like, here is our great COVID writing staff getting together, writing more episodes of Killing Eve. And someone said, you have an Asian lead and you don't have an Asian in your writing room. Now, granted, it's a film with 2 female leads and they have 5 female writers. But it goes into this idea that it's so easy to get blinded by your own success. To say, we are telling these stories, we are bringing people in. And, I got a little blowback when I first mentioned this, because I said, I do think, the fact that Taika Waititi, or Waititi, I believe it's Waititi, I don't know exactly how he pronounced it, is a person of color and is heading one of the major, really the Marvel trinities. He is in charge of that and pushing it forward, which is an amazing responsibility. And then people say, well, but he is not actually black, so you can't really compare. Just because he's a person of color doesn't mean black. But I do think that it goes beyond just, black and white. Although, again, that gets into that issue of, well, great, so we've got other people of color, but, we need to make sure that it's everybody. And I think that Disney does want to have a world where they are just saying, who's the best director? What's that guy who does the Twilight? I always forget if it's Key or Peele, but give me either Key or Peele and make them do good shows, make them do good movies for us, because he's very good at making movies. And so, and in Marvel itself, that Ta-Nehisi Coates is the writer on Captain America, and writing phenomenal Captain America stories.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why I think Disney's seeing such success, is because they only care about one color. They're like, I don't care who you are. If you can make us green, welcome aboard.
Well, yeah. And I do think, but at the same time, they weren't being as proactive about the issue as they could have been. And I think they recognize that. And I think having Anthony Mackie call it out because even if they went to Anthony, because I think there was this idea that Anthony Mackie had these things. He probably went to Disney and said, "I just want you to know I'm going to do this." And I think Disney said, "Yes, I'd actually would like you to do that. We would like you to take this action because you're right. That is something we need to be called out on, and we need to make it better." Now, granted, he's the head he's the star, he's the face of Captain America and Bucky. So arguably, he probably has had some influence on that. Although maybe he didn't have as much as he felt he should have, and that's one of the reasons why there is this seeping concern. And so when they announce Captain America and Bucky season 2, I think you'll get that either Key or Peele. I can never remember which one it is. Is it Key or is it Peele? Is it Keegan-Michael Key? Who the Peele does? Is the director, does Twilight Zone? Okay, it's Peele.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele. Okay. That's the problem with comedy duos. I still don't know which one is Laurel and which one is Hardy.
Oh no. So decades from now, people are going to be confusing us.
Oh yeah. Well, we're both so good looking. Well, that's why I give the honorific. So, well, no, it's the professor. They'll say the professor or the blue-eyed bomber. That's why you got to give those honorifics so people can identify. Oh yeah, he doesn't have blue eyes. He couldn't have been the blue-eyed bomber of the Burger Pits. So you got to think it all through. But anyway, yeah. So they'll get Jordan Peele in there. They will get more of these, and they'll give them more characters to work with, more characters to do, because they do want to have better stories. And when you just have your female director on your female film and your black director on your black film, it can cause a problem. But at the same time, in this day and age, you do need to have your female director on your female film and your black director on your black film. So it's a needle you have to thread, but you have to thread it. And if you want to, as the statement goes, get that camel through that needle to get into heaven as a rich man, you're going to have to work hard at it, and that is the rich man got to get into heaven somehow thing. Now, over on the DC world, you have another prominent African-American actor who has taken this moment to kick Joss Whedon. Which, is... And look, I'm not going to say Whedon doesn't have controversies. People have instructed me on all of his controversies. But at the same time, I know he does have defenders. Most of his controversies sound like they might have been personal issues with his wife. The Charisma Carpenter issue... By Charisma Carpenter's own statements, it was a lot more complex than just, he hated me because I got pregnant. It was more like, I got pregnant and it really made his life out very hard, and it caused a lot of tension on the set because, yes, you can shoot around a pregnant character, but it's not easy, especially if you're doing a lot of high kicks.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson can do it, but that's just because she's Scarlett Johansson. And she's making movies, not TV. So there's a lot more budget for digitally removing bellies than there is for digitally removing mustaches, apparently.
Ray Fisher, I get where you're coming from, where it's just, he didn't want to say a certain line or he didn't want to do this. It still could have been wrong, but who knows? We weren't there. But I don't know, just the Gal Gadot stuff just seems a little more problematic to me.
Well, to me, the Gal Gadot stuff seems like it was actually totally normal. He said, I want to shoot this scene. And she said, I don't want to shoot that scene. And he said, okay, we'll shoot it with a stunt double. And she was like, okay. And the stunt double was like, yes, I get to work. So it's kind of win-win. And that is actually how you do that, is you say, I have a scene, I need someone to be naked. Actor says, I don't want to be naked. So that's fine. There's lots of people who do. We just won't shoot their face. So we just need you to have your face in this scene, in this direction, and then we need to cut to the person who does that. And see, that's being a professional, and that's working through it. I honestly think that it was the fact that he realized that he felt he was supposed to have a bigger part in it. But first off, it's a film with what, 5 superheroes in it, maybe is there 6? Well, they cut Martian Manhunter, so yeah, so they cut it down to 5. So right there, it's like if anyone should be complaining, it probably should be Martian Manhunter. It's like, yeah, I know, I didn't even get into it, you know.
And I mean, you have heroes who are like, you know, Wonder Woman's already had her own movie. Batman and Superman were in like a team up movie. Aquaman was going to be the next movie. Yeah, so yeah, of course they're kind of going to push Cyborg a little to the side because his movie wasn't coming for a while, which I don't even think they're going to do now.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of it is that he's mad that Cyborg got put to the side, and he's going to blame Whedon for that.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, not for nothing, acting like Cyborg isn't shoehorned in to the DCU is, in my opinion, just lying. It's just lying. You want a black member of the team, you get John Stewart. You put in John Stewart, Green Lantern, and you could have even introduced him in the first one, or you even just maybe have him out. You know, oh yeah, no, I couldn't show. I was, you know, keeping the universe safe from some kind of a sun eater. You know, two galaxies over, dude. It's a big sector. It's a big sector. I can't be here for every time Superman decides. And you guys had a Superman. What do you want me there for? That's the thing. I've always felt that whenever people complain about, you know, well, why didn't this superhero show up? Why do you assume that superhero wasn't doing their own thing? It's like when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is dealing with Graviton while Thanos is coming down. It's like, you know, yeah, we couldn't go help the Avengers because we had to deal with this problem. And there's another problem every 5 minutes.
I mean, the whole Cyborg thing, it always seemed to me since, I mean, they started that in New 52, at the beginning of New 52, put him in the Justice League, which I have no problem with, but I'm just like, I just think his place more seems to be more with his friends in the Teen Titans because there's so much history there. I mean, if they had if they had started him there and then promoted him to the Justice League, that's fine. But it's just
it's odd, and it is, and not for nothing. And then they went and pushed him over to the Doom Patrol to replace Beast Boy.
Yes,
because Beast Boy's over on the Titans, which is fair. That's kind of fair. And they also did Doom Patrol in the Titans, so you actually had an interconnection there. Although it just seems like it more shows the dearth of African American superheroes to draw on in the DC universe. And I'm not going to act like Marvel's so much better, but you know they do. But for what it's worth, Marvel had an entire blaxploitation line. So they actually have black superheroes they can pull up at a moment's notice. And Luke Cage, for what it's worth, he actually goes to the Avengers super organically. Yeah. You know, I don't think anyone ever said, oh, yeah, no, I don't see that as weird because, you know, he had been an independent superhero on his own for so long. Whereas Cyborg really doesn't have a lot of independent superhero work.
No. And I mean, there are other black I mean, you could have did Black Lightning. I mean, yeah.
Why not? He was on the Super Well, not him, but Black Vulcan was, and we all know that's Black Lightning.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that he was on the Super Friends. He would have been completely accepted and seen. And
Or I mean, CW had already done Vixen. There's a black woman. You could have had another woman on that team, but it's like I don't know. I just feel like maybe they did Cyborg because they're like, oh, he's more well known because he's been in all those Teen Titans cartoons already.
Which is true. He is very popular there. Although again, that goes back to John Stewart, who was way more popular, I think.
Justice League, yeah.
On Justice League, you know, and doesn't have any weird awkwardness about, you know, how he got built. You know, what he's made out of, you know, and honestly, which is actually the cool thing in Doom Patrol, where he's not Mother Box technology. He's just super science, you know, which I like, which is his original origin. Then they put in the Mother Box technology, which, you know, I think that was his big mistake. Because I think the minute, and if nothing else, that might even be why Joss Whedon's kind of pushed it to the side. It's like, look, if he's Mother Box technology, obviously, and they're chasing down Mother Boxes, obviously that's going to be a problem because that means that anyone that has a Mother Box probably can see through him, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, you know, Joss Whedon is maybe thinking like a comic book nerd, and and also, like I said, I really think that Joss Whedon, I will guarantee Joss Whedon lost his temper on set a lot, because he literally was, asked to come captain the Titanic after it hits the iceberg.
Whoa,
And
yeah.
he's got to listen to everyone complaining about how they should be on the lifeboat first.
And I mean, his hands were so far tied behind his back because, I mean, just, this movie was supposed to be Steppenwolf and it was supposed to lead the dark side. And then I think they cut all mentions of dark sides. And then it's like, oh, the villain's Steppenwolf. And, 99% of the public probably like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, there was just a lot of problems with it from the start and from the finish. And I don't think the Snyder Cut is going to save it. That's just my honest opinion. That is just my honest opinion. But yeah, I feel that, and for what it's worth, Ray Fisher also called out Jeff Johns.
Oh yeah.
So we focus on the Whedon aspect of it, but he's also calling out Jeff Johns, and I forget who the other name was in that. Who must be the Warner suit.
Was it Goyer or was it somebody else?
I don't know. I think that might have been it. I think it might have been a G name. I just remember Jeff Johns because Jeff Johns, meanwhile, is getting nothing but praise for Stargirl.
Yes,
his baby. And again, like, why not Stargirl? But let's talk about the most recent episode of Stargirl. Okay. First off, who is the villain in the basement with the hood?
I'm not too familiar with him. I believe his name is it Dragon King, I think.
Okay. And his daughter he's got kick butt healing factor, so that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's Shiv. Yeah, I think
Shiv. Okay. She's pretty cool. And I gotta tell you, what I'm liking best about this is the possibility of heel and face turns. Because I get the feeling that, especially because most of the villainous children were not raised with a knowledge of their family lineage.
Yeah.
That, like, Shiv is clearly the exception to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're going to get, like, Brainwave's kid, who's now getting his brainwave powers after his father has been put into a coma, which we knew was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that that's probably... probably a lot of factors, and maybe just the fact that his father never really knew how to teach his son how to use it. Mm-hmm. But now once he's gone, he starts to develop it naturally. That maybe his father was pushing on his brain out so much was making his brain put up psychic defenses.
Yeah.
Like, inherently.
I'm trying to remember because I'm not too familiar with some of those comics, but I'm pretty sure like in Infinity Inc. and stuff, I think Brainwave Jr. actually worked with the heroes for a while, but eventually he just like went insane, I guess, from his powers.
Yeah, that's a problem when you have people talking in your head. That's why,
Oh, yeah.
That's why Professor X is always like trying to clamp down on people's brains because, don't talk. I need your brain to be where I need it because otherwise you're going to drive me insane. And then, of course, Charles Xavier goes insane every few issues now. It's hard being Charles Xavier, I'm sure. But, I like the fact that we had Courtney reaching out to Shiv's character, and I'm blanking on her name. I liked the fact that she was actually even receptive to it, to the point.
Oh, yeah.
Although, again, is this person who doesn't like to ever be told no.
Well, I was going to say, has she ever been told no in her life?
Yes. Well, only by her father, apparently. Although then it's always like a soft no. I
was going to say, it seems like he's not around half the time anyway. It's basically just like, do what you want to stay out of my way. Yeah,
because I don't think we've even seen him outside of the basement. Maybe we have. We just didn't know who he was.
Oh, yeah, true.
A big reveal in this is apparently the janitor is maybe, I'm guessing, Shining Knight.
I think so, because it wasn't his name like Sir Justin or something, because like even his uniform said Justin on the
I think there's something like that, and that's cool. Now the question is, does he remember that? Was he made to forget?
Oh, maybe.
And like and so it's like it's returning to him slowly, because he does his whole line at the end where he's all forsoothing at I forget who he's forsoothing at, but I think it was Courtney. But and that is an interesting thing. The other thing that I'm really interested in is heel turns by the Justice Society members.
Yeah.
Most notably, I'm wondering if they're going to have Dr. Midnight do a heel turn.
Oh.
Because people are treating her awfully.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the episode, they're treating her awfully. They've always treated her awfully. And again, she really calls out Courtney in this. Because when she goes and beats up all the dummies, which is like, great, you destroyed all the dummies. This is supposed to be our practice session, and you're just too hyped up on power. You just want to fight, which also raises that question: is could Courtney do a heel turn? Really, I think any one of these characters could at any time do a heel turn that we're seeing in the hero group. I mean, when you think about it, so many of these people are these awkward people who have had hard lives, which is how you define a supervillain,
Mm-hmm.
And likewise with the villainous children, they are people who come from some kind of privilege, and yes, that could make them villains. It could also make them far more empathetic and far more interested in being villainous because they know of other ways. They're the kind of guys who would say, why don't I just sell my invention rather than try to rob a bank with it?
I just see the rest of the team maybe be like moving away from Courtney for a while, but then they all have to come together towards the end. But I mean, speaking of Dr. Midnight, I just love the scene with, she's in the bathroom, then the parents are like, oh, you didn't pack our lunches today. And she's like, oh no, I'm too busy. Bye. Because they, the whole rest of the season, they're like, oh, you need to get some friends, quit hanging on to us so much. And it's just like, oh no, I was busy. Bye.
Yes, which is interesting, and also creates this interest, because that's actually the first time her parents reached out to her, because she's always been so clingy to them before that.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if she's going to have some kind of a story too, where she actually does have a super secret power that beyond just the Captain Midnight goggles that is going to be revealed. So yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by the whole concept. I'm intrigued by everything they're doing. I think that it is a strong and powerful show in the way it does things. I do know I am not, the middle-aged white male is not their demographic. This is clearly written for a much younger audience, which I can appreciate and I can like. Just like I like Teen Titans Go. I'm not the target demographic of Teen Titans Go, but I do love it. And I can love this too. And it is very enjoyable. But yeah, sometimes I feel like, especially Courtney, is so bubbly. I'm sure if Lilith was here, she's going to say, yeah, that's the demographic. And I can get that that's the demographic. But yeah, it's interesting to me. I like this series. I'd like to see more with Stripey, and I would like to see Courtney have a little more maturity.
Yeah.
Because right now, that's my point. Is like it seems like Courtney has the least maturity of any of the Justice. It's sort of like this weird thing where the first we think, oh, she's the leader. And then we're like, oh, no, you're bad at your job. You're not being a leader. You're not reaching out to people. You're not building these relationships the way you should.
Well, that might be on purpose because one, that might be, Courtney's journey to like find this maturity as she goes along. But two, maybe that's, maybe by the end of this season or something, maybe they're going to be like, well, why are you our leader? Just because you were here first. Maybe they make Beth the leader.
Yeah, maybe. Or our man. Or anyone. Oh, and that was the other thing I really want to call out in this. Because I think this is speaking of heel and face turns, the most important possible face turn in this is Grundy.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
Because Stripes specifically calls out Grundy. And that Grundy has that basically if the Injustice Society still controls Grundy, meaning that Grundy is a force of nature, as he should be, as hopefully when he unites all the parliaments and brings order to magic as the force of all magic in the universe, both life and death and balance and all that kind of nonsense. That would be awesome. You got to go watch our talks about Justice League Dark over on the Capes and Lunatics podcast, so you guys can scroll up for that. But the idea that Grundy, who is locked away and clearly not happy about it,
oh yeah,
because he growls at Shiv. He's like, "Don't growl at me,"
I mean, yeah, I could see that just from what they've done in the comics before. Just the Injustice Society keeps him locked up, and then the minute maybe one of these young girls in the Justice Society is nice to him, it's oh, pretty girl, nice to Grundy. Guess
Yeah,
what?
exactly. Oh, you know what? And I bet you it's going to be Dr. Midnight.
Could be.
I bet you that both of them. In fact, you know what? I will bet you that's going to be Doctor. It's going to be Dr. Midnight's heel turn and Grundy's face turn. They're both going to be felt like they've just been pushed around too long, and then he's going to go, goggle girl. It's like he used to go bird nose or bird girl. It's goggle girl. Yes.
Or it could even be Yolanda Wildcat, because she could be like, oh, you've been locked up for a while. Yeah, me too. I know how that feels, because her parents have grounded her for.
Oh,
yeah.
Not the same. Yeah, but yeah, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you used to be class president, and you. Honestly, to me, the whole I showed my boob, and that to me is like, as a middle-aged guy, I'm like, really? Would people be that upset about it? Now, granted, I'm not. I technically I'm from an immigrant family, but I feel it's very hard. I always have a hard time identifying with parents that are like just kind of mean to their kids.
I just took it as like, are they like super Catholic or something, and they're just
Well, but then again, it's sort of like
I know
it's like
hypocritical. I know.
But it's like, oh, my kid is gay. I have no child anymore. It's like, no, you still have a child. You should deal with this, And it's frustrating to me, just the idea that they're going to disown her just because of this.
It's drama for the sake of drama. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just that bothers me in its own way.
Yeah.
But then again, it's written for teen girls who are going to be like, yeah, my parents are just that awful. They don't let me do anything. I totally see that.
I guess. And I know you want to punish your child, but don't you think she's getting punished enough at school?
Not for nothing. And that's the thing I'm getting at. So, yeah. But no, I would love to see Grundy. And honestly, I really love Dr. Midnight's character. That's Beth, correct? Yeah. Yes. I love Beth.
Yes.
She is my favorite character because, as an awkward nerd myself, who dreamed of being a superhero, it's like, yes, girl, and no one takes her seriously, which really bugs me.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see her fight, because I really wanted to see how the goggles could be used, this super knowledge ability, and just saying, oh, well, I saw where it was going to go. I knew it was going to do this, 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 and this. And so I did this, 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 and this, sort of like the Amadeus Cho factor, that kind of thing is really cool. And I would love to see stuff like that with that character, but we haven't gotten there yet. And right now we had to tell Chloe's story. I actually got shocked when Shiv's face got all messed up. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be her face, and it's like, nope, it just grows right back.
She's like an evil X-23 or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what they're going for, and it was clear that obviously, I get the feeling she was, she was made better, as they say.
Right.
And because as her father says, I don't have time to prepare another wife to take care of you.
Oh yeah, they said like her whole personality changed after the mother died, and she got this stepmother, which they're trying to trick everyone into thinking, oh, it's the evil stepmother, but maybe the father started experimenting on her then.
Yeah, well, that could be it too, and any number of things. Although, why the mother was, of course, the mother might have been a supervillain too, but then it's like, but this is my daughter. I don't want you experimenting on my daughter. And I'm a scientist.
She might just disagreed with that father, and I could see that father killing her. Just like, oh, I'll just take the one who is more subservient.
Yes. Although, speaking of experimentations on people, let's talk Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. real quick here.
Yes.
Oh, man. And so they did not make Sousa the Spirit of 76 as I had hoped.
Yeah.
But, that's what I love about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have all these theories, all these ideas. None of them are ever right, but I always like what they do anyway. I never get so mad when my fan theory doesn't come to true, because it's always a good story that they tell anyway.
I mean, he's not going to be the Spirit of 76, but what if next episode we find out that Mac became something, because he does take off at the end of the episode and I guess meets up with them in the 80s then?
Well, yeah. Well, you did you see the scenes of next?
Oh, yeah, it's like a big beard and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know of any superheroes with big beards, but
Well, as you can, it's not going to take it, a decade to grow a beard though either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it would be kind of neat to see what he does. I do like that they do reveal that yes, Coulson is back in Max Headroom form.
Yeah,
which is pretty awesome. But that's next issue. We'll talk about that next episode. But in this one, we have the whole thing with Whitehall and his notes and trying to extract the superpowers from Daisy to basically give himself some inhuman growth hormone kind of a jazz. And so spoilers for that scene when he starts. So do you think that, which one was that? Nathan? Yeah, Nathan Malik. Do you think? Yeah, the son. Do you think that's the end of him?
It's hard to tell with this show.
I know. I actually get the feeling, because especially when my bones are cracking, and he goes in and then everything collapses on him. I think he's going to come back as Vibro.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I would love to see him as Vibro, and Vibro is a very 80s looking character, so I could totally see them, especially with Gideon Malik, sort of maybe with his brother, who's now kind of mentally and physically twisted, but is super powerful with these vibro powers,
Yeah, he could even go into a coma and come out, all his body mutated or something. Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, you don't have to mutate him. I mean, we just, like I said, purple jumpsuit and visor glasses. That's vibro, and that is as 80s as you get, kids. And they're already in the 80s because they do jump to 82, I think they said.
I missed that part, but yeah.
Because and again, it's interesting because they do the first jump, because obviously, and of course, they have to jump when they do, and then again, it's a situation where they don't know how long the jumps are. That the jumps, because, and this is what I realized: it's not that the Chronicons are trying to preserve the timeline. The Chronicons are trying to create a timeline.
Yeah.
So that they can take over the world. So they are now, as of now, our agents are in a completely different universe.
And
they're not going to be able to get back to their universe. And that's going to be the big revelation at the end. Or maybe they're going to find how they can get back to their universe with the Time Variance Authority. So that's going to be the end. The end of it is you're going to have Fitz and Simmons reunited at the end in the Time Variance Authority. And it is going to be, no, this universe, the minute they went back, it was a different universe,
Yeah.
The minute they went back, it was, but that's okay because we can return people to the main line. And they even say, we had to do that with Steve Rogers once.
And what did you think of Simmons, with the thing in her neck, I'm starting to remember things I'm not supposed to remember. I can't remember stuff I'm supposed to remember.
I know. That was awesome. And again, one of these things where I had a theory. I said, oh, yeah, she's clearly an LMD. She's clearly a Chronicom base LMD too, with maybe that's her connection to her real brain, and that's why she's getting disoriented, is because with the time jumps, she's separated from whatever vat her brain body is in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, no, that actually is her body. They just have to, she has a device in there that keeps her mind working, which again, it's this great way that they can give you a lead, let you form a theory, then completely undo that theory and make you go, bravo. And that is what makes Marvel films good, is no matter what you think about them, you don't walk away. It's not like Star Wars films where no matter what they do, everyone hates it because that's not what I think they should have done. And I think what Marvel does is they're smart enough to say, we're not going to get what people want. We're not going to get what people have been waiting for, but we have to make sure we're giving them something good. So whatever we tell, it has to be a good enough story that people walk away from it and say, yeah, that was a good story. I did not expect that to happen, and that made it fun. And so I'm glad they did it that way, because it's always more fun when it's something you don't expect.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I like what they're doing over on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. I am really looking forward to seeing where they go by the end of this season.
It just hit me. They're doing the 80s the next episode. After that, I wonder, are they going to jump to the 90s, and are we going to get anything to do with like Captain Marvel?
Well, we might.
Like,
we might.
Are we going to see them like behind the scenes be like, okay, we got to stop the Chromocoms from we have to let the Skrulls and the Kree and everyone do what they did the first time. We can't let the Chromicons interfere with that.
Well, that's going to be an interesting question, because they are going to be, because like I said, right now, and Sybil calls this out, which is like, yeah, it's just a new branch, and we can see where we want to go from here. That branch was cut, but basically Sybil says we're in a new timeline now.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is we're manipulating this timeline to make our world. Meaning that all of these things that have happened, all of these things that have changed, much like when the Avengers went back in time, it is just something that changed the difference and changed the world and changed the way that it moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and obviously this wasn't the world with, old Cap. This was the world with where something else happened, because they went back in time after Endgame. Actually, interestingly enough. So essentially, whatever Cap did, it actually happens after Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly, because this was like, or does the last season, the season before, I know it takes place after the snap, but I think but maybe it was before the end battle in Endgame.
Maybe.
I'm not quite sure, because I know it was a 5-year jump, but I think it was a 10-year jump in Endgame. So I think that might have been what it was. Yeah, it was a 10-year jump in Endgame, a 5-year jump in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I think Endgame was 5.
Endgame was 5.
Yeah.
Oh, so then maybe it takes place after Endgame. So yeah, they just don't mention it. Yes, but either way, the fact that they went back in time. Right now, we know that they aren't going back to their original timeline.
Yeah,
and I think when they.
It could have been before Endgame, because Endgame was 5. But remember when we got Coulson as the villain? What's his face? Wasn't that only like a 2 or 3 year jump that season or something?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You're right. It was So it happens. That season happens in between Endgame and
Infinity War. Yeah,
and Infinity War. Yeah. Okay, that's how it worked. But I just realized something. You know who we might see by the end of this? Franklin Richards. Because they made a point about going to a place outside of time where the Chronocoms couldn't see them. And yes, they could have gone to the Microverse, or they could have gone to the place at the end of time where, Nathaniel Richards and Valeria Richards have been hanging out. I think with Howard the Duck at one point, just to, and I believe that's also where the Time Variance Authority is located. It's, they went to that limbo space outside of time, and that's a very brilliant aspect of the concept of what they're trying to build into here. So, they do say that they're going to bump up against the Marvel Universe or the MCU, which also could mean, if they go to the aughts, they could be in that universe with Loki stealing the Tesseract.
True. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, when they're going when the heroes are going back in time, there's no guarantee they're going back to their past.
Yeah.
Because they're going back to a universe that, which is also one of those weird things where, maybe the Time Stone never did get back to the Ancient One. We don't know.
Oh my God, how awesome would that be if Coulson gets like another body somehow, another LMD or something. It's just like, every time we saw Coulson in the first Iron Man, one of those appearances, it wasn't 2008 Coulson. It was, LMD Coulson from 2020.
Well, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool, and or that it was the LMD Coulson who sacrifices himself.
Yeah,
Yes.
or like the end of Iron Man, one of the agents says, "Yeah, this story they gave you about a bodyguard, that's stupid. You should just tell them who you are."
Yeah. Oh, it will be interesting. However they work through it, I'm very excited about where it's going. It's a very good series. You should be watching it. Everyone should be watching it. It is, and it really lets you enjoy this aspect, this world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe without actually having to worry about the fact that Marvel Cinematic Universe is its own thing, and it's also part of this. And I wonder if we might get, I think like Daredevil is available to them now. So I do wonder if maybe we'll get a Daredevil reference at some point, or, that would be cool. There's lots of things that would be cool in this, and they have the rights to do it now. So I want to see where they're going to go next. There's so much good that's going on in it. Who knows, maybe they're going to run across a Thanos. They could run across, they could run across Ego in the 80s.
Wow.
Or actually I think Chris Pratt sometime in the 80s was born. So, yeah. There's lots of things they could do to bump up against the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah.
They could meet T'Challa's father.
Ooh, yeah. You could get out the old space-time codes. Oh, yes, time travel. Yeah, so I'm familiar. Also, I'm very curious to see what happens in the next episode, because obviously General Stoner knows about them.
Yes.
Knows Max. So that, if nothing else, that explains why they're at the lighthouse, why it was shut down, because clearly they're running their little shadow operation under Stoner's guidance. They jumped to 82. They were able to confirm that Stoner is Stoner. Has not been replaced by an LMD, etc. And maybe even they are working with them to try and deal with the Hydra problem. Because let's face it, Stoner now knows about the infiltrations and such, so he's probably going to be a lot more observant about these things.
Yeah.
I'm also hoping we get Sousa's leg in the next one.
Yes.
Because we didn't really have time to get him a leg in the last one, but by the next one, I think we'll have that time to have him outfitted with a new leg. So he's going to have his robot leg. He's going to be awesome. Although one thing I will say about this episode, he moves around really good without his cane for having one bum leg. A little bit of a suspension of disbelief on that, although we don't know how much of his leg he really has. And he's still, but I watching a lot of the old Peggy Carter's, that leg was a lot more of a problem in those episodes than it was in this. So,
yeah.
Though this does take 10 years after, so maybe he's just gotten really used to it by then. So, anyway, Philip, I think that's all I got to talk about. Is there anything you want to hit on this month, this show?
No, I think we're good.
Yes. Tune in shortly for the Capes and Lunatics All Thor special. Happy Thursday if you watch this on a Thursday. And in the meantime, you are probably listening to this right now, and you may be saying, my audio is not what I would like it to be. And that's probably because you're not listening to it on Tweaked Audio headsets. If you go to tweakedaudio.com, that's tweakedaudio.com, you can go there, check out their wide array of both wired and wireless headsets that will give you that sound quality that you so love. And once you have that, you can listen to all of these podcasts the way they were meant to be. Likewise, if you are, looking for something else, you say, I'm done. I listened to all these podcasts. They're great. But, I need something to challenge me mentally. Well, then why don't you go over to huntakiller.com. That's HUNTAKILLER.com and help private investigator Michelle Gray solve a cold case, sort through the evidence, decode ciphers, piece together the clues, and solve the crime. It's like an escape room delivered to your door every month. And finally, why don't you go down into our show notes, find a link to Amazon in there. It's our super special secret link. You click on that. It's going to take you right to Amazon, where literally the whole world is theirs for you to purchase. Buy anything you like. We don't care what it is. You can buy other podcasts for all we care. You can even subscribe to things, because I've noticed that my CBS All Access actually goes through Amazon, because I first purchased it through my Amazon Kindle, my Amazon Fire. So buy some stuff there. We'll probably get some kind of deal on that. So I don't know what, but I'm just saying it's kind of cool that you can buy anything you want there. And while you're there, check out Pod Life the book, because it is the book about the life of podcasting. And if you are listening to this podcast, you probably are interested in podcasts. And maybe even if you don't want to start one yourself, you'd like to know what makes the people who podcast do it. Why? How? Where? So that's the book for you. You'll see how podcasting has saved some people's lives, and how podcasting has just given a lot of people a lot of joy. So that's something to check out too. And in the meantime, if you buy any of these things, or even if you don't, one last thing. If you like Star Trek, check out our Patreon page for Capes and Lunatics, because we have a very super secret, only for Patreon customers, secret Star Trek podcast. Coming up, the big Patrick Stewart birthday episode.
That's right.
Watch for it. But only if you subscribe to our Patreon. Anyway, in the meantime, Philip, if people need help finding things, doing things, reaching out to you and touching you, how can they do that?
The easiest way is to just email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
Okay. And if they would like to email you, did we give the email on that?
Yeah.
Capesandlunatics. Oh, at Gmail. You know what it is? Because I always give my personal, you give the business one.
Yeah.
So Phil doesn't want you cluttering up his inbox with your personal stuff. Just send it to the company box. He'll get to it.
I just thought it was confusing throwing out. I used to throw out 2 emails. I'm like, just throw it. I mean, it all comes to me anyway. So
there you go. And in the meantime, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way that we, our Maz and Paz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. See, my personal email is also the show email. Ooh, I like how that worked. And of course, you can always follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, we can. Or sometimes I may fall asleep at 10:30. So, but I got the first half in there, and that was worth something to you. At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing.
Thank you, Maz. All right, my friends. Thank you for connecting with us tonight. Please do us a favor. Super connect with us again next week. Good night.
good night.
Dab. I don't know which way is the dab. It doesn't
I
matter.
don't think it matters as long I think your hands with
As long as you dab. We will ask Lilith, because she knows, because she is up to all the hep things the kids are doing these days. She's a real hep cat, that Lilith Hellfire.
Millennial hep cat.
She is, man. That's why we love her.